Thanks to the user RYMC88 on MakeCode Forum, who shared their Simon Says project and inspired me to make this setup tutorial. In the last video, we talked about what the Simon Says game is, what the Circuit Playground Express is. So we created 3 variables already, and here in this video, we're going to create a function called a show sequence. So what is function? For example, you want to learn how to make sandwich. There are a few steps like taking out the bread, spread the butter, spread the jam, spread the peanut butter, and there's a whole list of the actions you want to do. So you store this in your mind. Next time, when you want to make sandwich, you don't have to pull out this long list because you know what is that. All you need to do, just tell your brain, I'm gonna make a sandwich. So very similar to the function. Function is a set of the actions you want to call every time you want to use it. Instead of putting all long list again and again, what you need to do is to create a whole group of the actions of coding. Next time when you want to use it, you just need to call it. So right now we're trying to teach this code about we're going to create something or create a whole list of the actions called show sequence. You can see I'm still using the camel case, which is quite common and useful. Show sequence means that every time, so when we start having the sequence, which is 4 different, like for the upper left, lower left, and upper right, lower right, and there's different lights of the LEDs and different things you could show. So I am going to go to loops. This time, going to drag for index from 0 to 4. So in the coding, a lot of times when we count stuff, it's starting 1, 2, 3, 4. But here, for the index, you can see from 0 to, which should be 0, 1, 2, 3, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. So here, we are going to go to array because we have the empty array. So we don't know exactly what's that's going to be. So I am going to choose the length of list of array, which is not list, it should be our current sequence. And I'm going to map, like I mentioned, it's going to be from 0, 1, 2, 3. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, this should be 0, 1, 2, 3. And we also need to minus 1 because our 1, which starts at 0. I am going to go to logic, if then else. Start with the first thing when the value is 1. So here we're going to have 1, 2, and 3, 4. So I am going to get value, but I need a comparison. So I'm going to drag this equals to, and instead of list, again, we're doing current sequence. Current sequence at a value, I'm going to drag index equals to 1. So when it equals to 1, then we're going to light yellow, yellow, rest of that, gonna let it off. And then we also can play a little bit sound. And then we go to loop. It's only gonna show around 200 milliseconds. And then it will be all gone, clear. This is for when the index is 1. Again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm going to do, press this plus button. I'm gonna press 3 times. But now I have 5 slots. I'm gonna just get rid of the last one. Now I have 4 different slots. I can put the different conditions there. So I'm going to do the rest of the part, which is lower left, lower right, and upper right. Now you can see we have created this function, which is show sequence. What I'm going to do, I am going to call the function. So like I mentioned in the previous video, I usually like starting with the 3 different sections to show up. I don't want to make it very hard. I want my list to start with 3 so people can remember it. So whenever this repeat 3, I'm going to click show sequence. And here, this is still a slot here. I am going to create another function which called add to current sequence. Again, use the camel case and put it here. This function is going to be very short because remember when we start with the current sequence, which is empty array. So what I need to make this randomly. So I am going to add value to the end. and I use this as current sequence, and I am going to pick a random 1 to 4 because again we only have 4 sections, so we're gonna pick random 1 to 4 here and to the end. So it could be 1 or 2 or 4, and here we can just call add to current sequence here. So we start with this right now, and once we start with the whole start block, that means now we finish the showing option and the lists. So what you need to do now for the players, you can actually touch the pins right now. So we're going to variable and click input active, and I am going to make it true. Like I mentioned before, we were trying to show you all of the different options and the list. Now we're done, so you can feel free to touch the pin. This is the tutorial of creating 2 functions. And the next one, we're going to create something relatively more complex, which called checking input, which means that if you put in the right order or not.